you guys also think that there's some kind of past life thing that you are experiencing in this life?
Do you want to go?
Yeah, I need this stuff. Like, I love this stuff. But also with your brother, it's like you got to see it from a different perspective this time and like be the other side of it. And I think that is like an important thing of like working out past lives of like, I'm going to be the child, but then I'm going to be the mom and like healing with that soul or like whatever. I have a couple past life things. I don't know how they specifically relate to my life now. I mean, yes, I do. What am I talking about? Okay. I don't want to talk for too long, though. Do you also have past life?
No, talk as long as you want. You have plenty of time.
Yeah.
So my first past life, actually, I have like a couple. But I would say the two most significant ones, because they relate to each other. I was working the company that we all met at. I worked there a couple of years ago before I met you guys. And a coworker of mine, I had a dream about her, but we were like men in war, and like I died or something. Like I had like some torso wound. And I like saw her at work and I was like, it like came to me and I was like, oh my God, I had this dream about you. And she also got, just like that spooky feeling. And she was like, let's do a regression together. So we did a past life regression together. So it wasn't about war, but in the regression, and the woman who did our regression is just the embodiment of like the white witch, beautiful, ethereal, everything that I want to be. This gorgeous lady. Like, so. And as we were both like being regressed, like she was able to see everything. It was also like one of those like, oh, this is like kind of real moments. Cause like, I also don't know if I'm like, am I making this up in my head? But then like for us three to all have like almost the same, actually like very the same vision. I was like, wow, that's like spooky. So in the regression, I was like, young, like child bride. I must have been like 12, whatever. And the coworker who was female in this life, she was a male in the past life and was a like older man. So basically I was giving birth and like, it was like the baby wasn't going to make it or whatever. So they just like cut me open. Because he wanted the baby. Didn't care about me. I was disposable. Like,
damn.
But it was like this like stomach gash. And like, as I'm going through this, I like I'm like witnessing this like botched C-section thing happening. And the woman who's regressing me was like, if there's another child or baby present in this regression now, like send it love. And I was just like, how did she know that? We're just silently in our minds. And I was like, how does she know that? And then like, so then it was like this child, then there's three of us. And I was just like, I don't specifically know how that one like relates to my life now, but it was just one of those stories that like, I was like, this feels very real, very, very real. And I even think that I knew who the child was because his face came to me at the end and he was a person that I knew from AA. And I told him about it because I was crazier back then. I just talked about all my spiritual experiences out loud. And he was adopted and had a huge mother wound. And I was just like, oh my God, like these things are like connected and I can't, hindsight will be 2020 when we die and get to look at all of our lives. But so I don't totally know now. But then I had another regression and I was like a man, hermit, living in the woods all by myself. Didn't have much love in my life, like, but I was content to be. And I like went out hunting one day and I was like mauled by a bear in like the same stomach spot.
What the
Yeah. And I died and I like saw myself die. Like, and, so I asked the one who did the regression, I was like, what did that one mean? And like, why is it the stomach thing? So I don't remember the insight on the stomach thing, but like, I feel like that life really relates to mine because like, even when we were talking about before, when it was like, when you guys can't get in contact with me because I'm just like off in the ethers and I don't answer my phone or whatever, like I feel like there's like some control, safety, self-protection thing from people, from whatever that I do. And kind of in that regression, I was doing that to the fullest, where I was like literally living alone in the woods, like without love. And I think I was starting to go down that path here where I was just like making my connection with people shallower and shallower because I was just isolating into myself. And then, you know, the universe was like, don't do that again. Don't die by bear. Like, you need love and connection. You
Die in the wild.
Open your heart and like, yeah, all that stuff. But also one more thing. I have gotten like my astrology reading done a lot. And they say like your north node and your south node are kind of representative of like, I forget which one. I think your south node is your past life and your north node is your current kind of life experience. I think I might have got those backwards. But they're like on an axis. So wherever your like north node is, so mine's like in Scorpio, like the 12th house or something like that, which is like the house of like expansion, like humanity, like the big picture things. And Scorpio is like the depth, the spirituality, like whatever. And then, so that's like my current path. That's like the things that I'm working through in this life, which is like accurate. And then the other axis of my past life is in Taurus. I forget what house, but Taurus is very like practical, materialistic, not always in a negative way, but just like, you know, having your ducks in a row, like caring about your material wealth and stuff like that. So I feel like that explained a lot for me in this life, where it was like, because I'm always feeling like I don't have my shit together and I get upset about it. But then I'm just like, I learned how to get my shit together before. This incarnation is not about that. This incarnation is about being messy, discovering esoteric, higher arching things. And like, that also gives me like some relief in this. Yeah. Some knowledge of myself that makes me able to like navigate easier, knowing that it's like, yeah, I'm just going to be like wandering waiting in the mysteries of this lifetime a little bit. And like, that's cool with me. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I fucking love that. Yeah. I mean, like I have not explored like past life, anything really, but I wholeheartedly believe in reincarnation. So like, I don't see why that couldn't be a thing. The way I kind of experience all of the esoteric stuff and like how I relate back to spirituality is, conceptually, I value understanding the self and just enjoying life. That's what I think I am here for. And I project that onto everybody around me. Is like, what are they trying to figure out so that they can enjoy life more? And I think conceptually, anything that serves that function is valid. Like nothing can be proved. Like I have no fucking clue what happens when we die. I mean, like I've had some recent deaths, like immediate family members pass away recently. And it's like, I have no clue what is going on with them. Like if they exist, if they're conscious, if they're not conscious, if they're just a part of everything that's around me now, I don't know. But like, it's a comforting thought that they are incarnated into another form now. Like every time somebody's like swatting at a fly, I'm like, that's my grandma. Don't fucking hurt my grandma. Like, I don't know. And, you know, could be, could not be, but it helps me. So fuck it.
Do you think those experiences of your family, immediate family passing has changed anything in you?
Yeah, very much so. It was probably one of the hardest things that, or if not the hardest thing that I've ever experienced. Like I saw my dad right after he passed away. I was not there when he died, but I showed up like 5 minutes afterwards, some bullshit time frame like that. And it fucked me up. I think I started I think it was a panic attack. I don't entirely know, but my vision was distorted. I couldn't hear, and I felt like I was going to black out. Like my vision was like going in and out of blackness, and like I only heard white noise, and I just felt like all of my like senses were in red alert. Like I felt so threatened and not present. And I don't know how to describe it besides that. Like psychologically, there was a lot of processing going on that I can't actually translate to words, but it's left a lasting impression where I want to just be as compassionate and present as I possibly can be. Because I had a very fucky relationship with my dad. Like he went through a lot. He died at like 94, and he witnessed a lot of atrocities. Like, and that's not an exaggeration. Like he saw people getting like murdered in the streets, and like he immigrated from China to Cuba and then Cuba to America, but he abandoned like an entire family and like a lot of fucked up shit that was really hard for him psychologically. So like obviously that was projected onto me to an extent, but like, on his deathbed, like all that was left was love. Like I just wanted him to be okay. And I think he felt the same towards me. Like he just wanted me to be okay. And I want to honor that feeling because I do think that we're all connected. Like I wholeheartedly believe that what our true identity is consciousness. Like we are just the awareness. And if I was born with any other circumstances, like I could easily be either of you guys is how I see it. So it's like, I love myself. And if you are me, I love you. And I want you guys to feel that care. Like I want everybody, like I'm one of those deranged people that just wants to like hug the entire world. Because it's like, why the fuck not? I just want everyone to be okay because so many people aren't okay. So it's like, if I can treat you guys well and treat myself well, it's like, it is something that never runs out, right? Like that love is infinite. And yeah, I'm just trying to take care of myself and take care of those around me. And if like people around me are assholes, it's like, okay, like love to you. And the most loving thing I can do is get the fuck away. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And then how did you say, sum up, like after talking about everything of our past and everything that you guys have gone through, what is like, how do you want to channel the energy to now the future for you guys? Like, what is it that you want to take from that, or that you have taken from that, that you are looking to either create or experience now, like moving forward?
For me, and this is something that I probably have shared with both of you. I do art, right? Like I used to be, I view myself as a very creative person, but I, interestingly enough, don't view myself as an artist. There's probably like some weird identity stuff going on with that, where like I feel like pretentious or something. But I do think I'm a very creative person. And what I'm looking to do is connect with myself as authentically as I can, and allow whatever that means to come to the surface with as little judgment as possible. There's definitely going to be judgment, but like just kind of letting that happen and understanding it more. I don't want to get too wrapped up in my own head because it's definitely a rabbit hole like you were talking about earlier. Like I'm just trying to find that balance because I'm like naturally super introverted, naturally super shy, but I have this intense drive to wanting to be my authentic self and create space for everybody around me to be their authentic self. So it's like, it's not combative, but like on the surface, that's conflicting, right? So I think I'm exploring that balance. I'm trying to just let life be whatever it is and hopefully enjoy it and create that same experience for those around me. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, man.
I definitely agree. I feel like I would say something similar. Anytime I've had a vision for my life, that wasn't some of them, I've manifested a lot of stuff. Like that wasn't aligned with me. It just crashed and burned in a way that was like, couldn't I have learned this in like a easier or smaller way? That's not true. I'm very privileged. I have learned things in safe ways. I'm still alive. But yeah, I feel like I just want to like discover myself. I feel like where I'm channeling my energy is just like constantly discover, like whether it's my authentic version or just like, what my soul is supposed to do. Like, I feel like those are kind of for me, the same terms of like the same idea, different terms for the same idea, like just discovering like what I'm supposed to do here. Like, I don't know, work out my karma and like just be the fullest version of myself. But I feel like that comes with like a lot of like unknown. So it's more of like a discovering type of energy. Cause I think the universe also like has like told me that. It's just like, why don't you just like sit back for a second and like observe what's happening. And then you can like go with the river and like see where you're being drawn and stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. Yeah. And it's so interesting because hearing both of your past and what you currently believe or have experienced, it's so funny because it's like we all want to be authentic and compassionate. And I think the people that are like that the most have been through the most, or at least know the opposite of it, because how would you know that without it? But I also think that there's so much of our mind that gets in that way because you still have those patterns of like your past, right? And I also think that after meeting you two, it's so funny because every time I'm around you guys, I'm like, we all need to do something. Like that's what I feel. And now knowing you guys a little bit more, I kind of feel like maybe you both feel like that, but it's kind of like those unknowns that make you worried that the past is going to come back or something, or you're going to like experience something that you don't want. But literally every time I see both of you, I'm like, you're so talented, but there's like the collaborative part I like talking with and like learning about with both of you. I feel like there's something that we're supposed to do or like have fun with. And for me, it's like, this is probably it. Like it's nothing huge or anything to me or that I need to make more than it is, you know? But like, especially seeing your other sides, like especially seeing you on your TikTok and like all this stuff, like I know there's the wild side of you that when I have a normal conversation with you, I'm like, this is not that person right now. So like, where is that? And then I know same with you, Emma. It's like when we see each other at work, there's so many things that we talk about that like stop us from being more like that. Because, you know, there's other people that we have to report to or that are bosses or like kind of like that, you know, authority figure that we have to just kind of like deal with. But I never see that like as something that like is that you need to talk about or that we need to actually waste time on. Cause I see both you being so creative. I feel like that's what I appreciate about both of you is that because I know this is some dark stuff that you've been through, but you don't hide any of it. You're kind of like so open to talking about it, which I find super refreshing because there's so many people that, you know, that's really hard to talk about or they haven't integrated it or moved on from it. So I really appreciate that because then I know that whatever I am going through or wanting to do that's like a little scary or uncomfortable, I feel like you two are really easy to talk to about. And I think that's like rare a lot of time.
I do too.
Oh my God. I got your guys' back however the fuck I can. I would go to war for you two.
I know you would.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's also like if I ever spiral or go down a really dark path, I can see both of you being like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like,
dude.
And that's what's so, I think that's really, like, I really appreciate that about you two. Because, you know, there are people that you meet and you kind of know that there's things that you kind of want to get to know or like talk about, but sometimes it's really hard to do that, you know, when really it's like, that's all you have to do.
Well, you know, I want to say one thing real quick. Like, I think the ability to talk about the stuff that's vulnerable, obviously if people aren't comfortable doing something, like, honor wherever you're at and be okay with it. But I think there is a good reason to kind of like put ourselves in the uncomfortable, right? It's like, if we can face the reality, like reality as it is in the external, with full presence, then that's like probably the most powerful thing that any of us can do, right? Because it's like, we're not fucking rejecting reality. We're not rejecting ourselves. We're not rejecting others. And that is what allows us to actually grow and adapt. Like, we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be honest with others, because it's two sides of the same coin, Like, if I lie to you, I'm lying to myself simultaneously. Fuck that.
Dude, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love when we hang out and stuff like that. And I always joke and say, let's get unconscious. It's like, I just know that you know what that exactly means and why it's so funny, but still like real. Like, we're not trying to hide anything.
Yeah.
And that's what I think why you two could probably relate to a lot of people. Just hearing your story and like where you are now, and then just your own vibe, because it's like, I think for me, being an artist, meeting people like that is very rare and very like refreshing, and like the people you want to collaborate with, whether it be just doing a podcast or like hanging out with. And so like, that's why I love talking to you guys all the time, and especially like hanging out. And even when we hang out, like, and I like think of a funny idea, you're always like, okay, like
let's go film that right now.
Oh my God. We need that content.
And everyone should check out your TikTok for inspiration.
I do feel like, you guys are people that like, I get that same energy with, like, where it's like, I should create something with you, or like feed off of whatever creative thing that you're doing. But I think I don't exactly know where to place it or put it. Like, I don't know what the project is. And I think that's like hard for me, but that also is just kind of like a discovering, and like, I'm into human design and like my human design and manifesting generator. So I'm like multi-passionate. And I also relate when you're like, it's hard to call yourself an artist. Sometimes that word gets me, but I think that makes you an artist. Because it's like so deep to your heart, and it's like hard to like, say it and like call yourself that. So like, you feel like you're like pretending or something like that, but it's like, that is the mark of an artist too. Just like the classic, like, makes 1,000 paintings, shows it to no one, and they're like, I am worthless. Like, such an artist brain, dude. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I respect both of you guys a lot. I wholeheartedly would love to, I don't know, do stuff like this and just explore. So we've all been talking about how we're in like an exploration phase. And I feel like that is how we, I don't know, that's just how we know what we want, is we have to go through all the shit that we don't know. And then we figure out like, oh yeah, this resonates, or like, no, this feels awful. I don't want to do this ever again. Right. But like, we could do that together in some capacity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to end or leave with people about yourself?
I do want to reflect what Emma said, like, being vulnerable is literally like, there's like this saying in AA, it's like, you're only as sick as your darkest secret. Like, and there are times in my life where I made myself sick by not sharing with people. Single-handed, that was the only thing missing. Like, if I just said it out loud once, it becomes nothing. Like, and I think that is just like the hell that we create in our minds. And like, being vulnerable, like, is freedom.
Yes.
Like, being honest is freedom, even when you're like, oh, I don't want that person to know that about me because they're going to think this, this, or this. And it's like, well, fucking well, just say it and like move on. And that just like relieves that, like, that pent up energy in you of like calculating and like whatever. So yeah.
I totally agree with that. I think, that kind of comes, like, vulnerability comes down to trusting in ourselves, right? Like, trusting that we're capable to actually deal with whatever the fuck fallout happens. And that's true fucking like courage, I think, you know?
And do you also think that like the pain that you guys have also experienced is leading you to want like more pleasure or more joy? Or is it kind of the same thing to you?
It's all the same thing for me. I'm just trying to listen to whatever the fuck is true for me in the moment. And like, there's been situations, without going like on a tangent or anything, where it's like, okay, here's what I'm experiencing. And I know that if I say this out loud, it very likely would lead to a situation that I don't want, which would suck to happen. But you know what? Like, I gotta fucking honor that and say it out loud to the person that is involved. And when I did that, interestingly enough, it didn't result in what I was anticipating. It actually like improved the relationship. So it was kind of ironic in that sense. But I was fully ready for whatever outcome. Like I was like, yeah, this is probably gonna really fucking suck for a while. And that's okay if that's what needs to happen. And it didn't go that route. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I think everything always turns out better than your mind can ever fathom. Because if it's coming from a heart-centered place, it's only going to be positive.
Yeah, and my brain is like limited in like creating things. It's like I couldn't have guessed what my life would turn into.
Right.
Like, if I chose my path, it would suck. I would, really glad it didn't work out.
Dude, we'd be like homeless women panhandling together. Dude, what if I still would have met you? That would be fucking amazing.
Would have.
And we'd be trying to like get money off of Billy. I'd be like, hey.
I'd be like, y'all need some help.
Take this equipment.
Yeah, you're the ones that robbed me. And then we became friends.
Yes! Yeah, exactly.
In a parallel reality. Totally.
That is happening in a parallel reality. We made two split different choices.
Exactly.
And now me and Emma are just like living in a van.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do think you guys need to.
Or you're our pimp.
Oh, dude.
Could you imagine?
I would totally trust you to be my pimp.
Yeah, but that what you guys said kind of makes me want to reiterate that I think you should be more proud of being an artist, because I think what we talked about is like we understand that like when you live in your head, you don't create anything. It's more like destructive. But when you're not in your head, you're only creating. Like you're always being you're always using your energy to create something new or an expression of yourself. So I think that's kind of something that I think you should be more proud of and not worry about like if you're an artist or not. Because if it's from your heart, it's not going to be destructive or harmful.
Yeah, it's accurate.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't feel like I'm not worried about whether or not I'm an artist, but you know, I probably am, because it's like saying that out loud. I'm like,
you definitely are.
Yeah. It's just interesting because I feel like that's like a blind spot of mine where like I probably hardcore avoid thinking about that.
But is it also maybe Asian programming? Like you can't make a living at art, and all this stuff, you know?
Well, yes and no, because like my parents, they were always like, you know, why doctor? Like that was real for me.
Totally.
And I remember I wanted to go down the route of psychology, and I told them once, I was like, I want to be a doctor, but for your brain. And they were like, what the fuck is that? That's not anything. Like none of that's real. Like, and then I was like, oh, I want to be an artist. And they totally said, yeah, you won't make any money. Money is super important. But, you know, that just added more fuel to me wanting to go down the route of art. And really quick to wrap it up, because I don't want to go on a tangent. But like when I was younger, I definitely thought that I would be like an artist of some sort when I was older. But then I went through like a pretty intense depression for like 10 years. I'm probably still in that depression, honestly. But like, that's when I had the weird association with being an artist. Like I still made art. I just didn't feel comfortable calling myself an artist anymore. So that's something I guess after this conversation I'll look into, because you guys are bringing it to my attention more strongly than it's been brought before.
Or if it makes you comfortable, we could just be like, you're not an artist.
You can tell me that if you want. Like, I don't really care. You guys can say whatever you're compelled to say, and that's okay. Yeah.
But you are an artist.
You are an artist. I could go on another tangent.
Yeah,
I know we're trying to wrap up.
Yeah.
Can I say
finish up, Katherine.
Like, yeah. Now I'm going to forget what I was going to say. Welcome back to my podcast. Wait, what was this? Fuck, damn it. When you were like talking about like depression and just like, I think when we're depressed, we're like overanalyzing everything. And like, I also had that, like my dad being like, you're not going to make money as an artist. That's not a living. That's why I chose like graphic design, because it was like art and business. And my dad was all about making yourself marketable. And like, but it's like, do I have like the deep passion for like graphic design? So it's like, no, like, and I don't even know what like genre it is, but I think being an artist is just like being a creator. And it's just like that thing in you that you're just like, I just want to express metaphors and ideas, or just like a color, like whatever the hell is like, has to come out of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's so interesting. Cause I think I know why I don't think I'm an artist, because I totally agree that that is what makes an artist. And for me, that's not what it's about. Like, I'm not so into the self-expression anymore. That kind of changed when, like, you know, that period that I was telling you guys about earlier. But for me, creating is more about connection. Like, I'm trying to connect with other people and have them connect back. And that's what everything comes back to. So I think that's why I've gone down the route of design. I was like, I honestly, this is going to sound so nerdy, but like, I love organizing information and presenting it in a way that is super legible for like the end user, for the audience. So I guess, okay, sorry. Yeah, that's it.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Good job.
Yeah.
You're an artist now. She hides in her PD.
But no, that connection, that makes so much sense. Like, I love movies. Like, God bless people that like were artists that express themselves in movies so that like we can connect and relate and don't feel alone. That shit saved me in depressions. Like movies that I was like, oh, that's what I'm feeling. Like, that is just a human experience and not just like my little suicidal self, like being all alone. It's like, oh no.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And movies are able to tap into like every single emotion experience, even though some people want to say it's like bad or dark or like whatever, but I think it's just like an experience, and movies like make it okay.
You're so right.
Because I had the opposite of you. It's like I wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer, and a dentist. I was like, I could do it.
All of them?
Yeah. And then I saw Psycho Fight Club. I was like, I'm going to make art. Like, I just dropped all of it right in the middle of my senior year. Like, I was going to do all three and try to do it. My parents were like, okay, that sounds great. But then I saw those two movies and I was like, something clicked. I was like, I need to create art. And then my whole path changed after that. But I think that's like, how powerful art is. It gets you out of like your security or like survival mode too. Because if you see an inspiring movie or something that like, it can change you and inspire you. While I feel like being a lawyer or dentist can't in that way creatively.
Lawyers
like
literally
can inspire.
Dentists, I'm not particularly inspired by dentists. So
you could do some cool stuff with teeth though. Yeah.
And we're gonna end it at that. You can do some cool things with teeth. Okay, that's it.
But yeah, the world, wait, did you end? The world would be so dry without artists and without art. And for all the people that are like, oh, I'm not going to make any money, maybe not. But like, we do need it.
Yeah.
I think I've talked myself out of that too, where it's like, oh, I'm not like contributing. I'm not like doing whatever. It's like, no, if we did not have art in the world, oh my God, we'd all want to kill ourselves. Like,
We're so distracted.
I would,
and unconscious probably.
Yeah. It would be so dry. So sad.
Okay.
Can I say one more thing? Okay, about like to springboard off of what you guys are saying, like Freud had talked about different ways of coping with like this fear of death and the unknown and just like being obliterated. And he said that the highest form of, it's a coping strategy essentially. And he said that the highest or the best coping strategy was creating art. Like that is how we can process our emotions. Yeah. So I thought that was cool.
That's
my man Freud all coked up. His tangents.
Well, thank you guys again for doing this, and love talking with you. I feel like we could go on for hours.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you guys again. Can't wait to like see what happens from this and what you guys are working on. I mean, if you want to let people know like where to find you, or at least like get any kind of impression of your art, feel free to let them know.
You can go on my TikTok, I guess.
Yes, you're so fucking funny. I'm about to make a TikTok just to follow you. I keep needing to do that.
My TikTok is at a modern woman, spelled how you think it's spelled. And then from there, oh no, my Instagram is Maya Intuitives. And I think that has linked like all my stuff. If you feel like searching, I have a website and my TikTok's on there. And then I have an Etsy that I'm trying to do passion projects on.
Dude, I love the shirts I got. I gotta fucking post it.
My orangutan like shirt. 5 shirts. God bless you.
I love them.
The orangutan shirt, does it look good?
I love it.
I love that piece. Yeah.
Well, sweet. Yeah, and then what about you?
Right now, though, just honestly, everybody take care of yourselves. Take care of the people that you love. Because what the fuck else is there? Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
True. Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you. I love you guys.